The greatest secret about manifestation is that it has always been simple. Energy aligns, reality reflects. Nothing more, nothing less. Yet the very simplicity of it is what causes most people to miss it. Because the human mind has been conditioned to believe that anything powerful must also be complex, people search endlessly for elaborate rituals, step-by-step formulas, and hidden keys. They convince themselves that the process must involve hours of work, constant affirmations, or impossible discipline. But manifestation was never meant to be complicated. It was meant to be natural. Think of the way a radio works. You don't build the music by hand. You don't force the sound into existence. The station is already broadcasting. All you do is tune the dial. When you land on the right frequency, the music plays clearly. If you're a little off, there's static. That's manifestation. The reality you desire already exists, broadcasting on its own frequency in the quantum field. Your only job is to align with it. Once you do, the signal becomes clear, the result appears. And just like with the radio, the station was always there. You simply had to tune in. But because that sounds too easy, most people overlook it. They want the grand staircase, the complicated code, the 10-step process that proves their effort. The mind is suspicious of ease. It equates struggle with worth. If it didn't cost blood, sweat, and sacrifice, it can't possibly be real. That's why the hidden simplicity of manifestation is ignored by so many. They can't trust that tuning their energy, something invisible, intangible, could be enough to shift the material world around them. Yet everything in your life already runs on this principle. You attract friends not just by what you say, but by the energy you bring into the room. You find opportunities not only by chasing them, but by holding the kind of presence that makes others want to open doors for you. Even your inner dialogue reflects outward. When you carry belief, confidence, or peace, people treat you differently. Circumstances bend around you without you lifting a finger. This is manifestation at work. It has always been here. The reason most people miss it is because they are busy looking for proof in the wrong places. They expect fireworks, instant miracles, or signs so dramatic they can't be ignored. But the quantum doesn't move with spectacle. It moves with resonance, and resonance is subtle. It's the way a room feels when you walk into it. It's the way your body relaxes around certain people. It's the way small coincidences begin stacking up quietly until you realize they were never coincidences at all. The truth is that manifestation doesn't require you to master 100 different techniques. It requires you to master one thing: your state of being. The energy you hold is the signal you send, and reality, without fail, reflects it back. The process is simple. So simple, most people miss it. But simplicity does not mean weakness. Simplicity means power, distilled to its purest form. From the time you were young, you were taught that success belongs to the busiest person in the room. You were told to hustle harder, to keep pushing, to never rest. Society glorifies the grind, celebrating exhaustion as proof of ambition. And so you learn to equate effort with progress, to believe that if you just did more, tried more, forced more, life would finally reward you. But effort is not the same as alignment. In fact, the more you push without resonance, the further away your desires seem to drift. Effort has its place, but it was never meant to be the engine of manifestation. Alignment is faster. Alignment is cleaner. Alignment is what collapses timelines. Think of it like rowing a boat upstream. You can spend hours straining against the current, sweating and panting, and maybe you'll move a few feet. Or you can drop the oars, turn the boat, and let the river carry you. Both involve movement, but only one honors the natural flow. Effort without alignment is rowing upstream. Alignment allows you to move with the current of the field. The trap of effort is that it feels familiar. Struggle convinces you that you're earning your place, that suffering proves you're worthy. But the quantum doesn't operate on worthiness points. It mirrors vibration. You can work day and night from fear and still manifest more situations that validate that fear. You can grind endlessly from scarcity and still find yourself running on empty. The signal you send matters more than the hours you put in. This is why alignment outpaces effort every time. Consider how many people exhaust themselves chasing money, only to find that no amount ever feels enough, or how many push for love, bending themselves into someone else's expectations, only to end up more alone than before. It isn't for lack of trying. It's because the trying itself is coded in desperation. Effort born of lack tells the field, "I don't have it yet." And the field, obeying resonance, reflects that truth back. Alignment works differently. When you hold the energy of already being, action becomes lighter. Inspired steps appear, but they don't drain you. You move with clarity rather than compulsion. The right people cross your path without forcing. The opportunities arise without clawing. It looks effortless from the outside, but in truth it is powerful coherence doing the work. Most people never see this because they're too busy rowing upstream, convinced that stillness means laziness, that letting go means giving up. But the paradox is that surrender creates acceleration. When you stop clinging, the field can finally rearrange itself around you. What took months of grinding suddenly falls into place in a single conversation. What seemed impossible arrives naturally because your energy finally matched it. The trap of effort is believing that force is the only path forward. The truth is that alignment does more in a moment than effort can do in years. The question is not how hard you are willing to push. The question is, are you willing to let it be easy? At the heart of manifestation lies a principle so simple it almost feels impossible. Vibration shapes reality. You don't create by forcing, grasping, or endlessly chasing. You create by resonating. Every possibility you've ever dreamed of already exists in the quantum field, not as some far-off fantasy, but as a timeline vibrating at its own frequency. When your energy matches that frequency, coherence happens, and the field, without hesitation, reflects it back into your physical world. Think of a tuning fork. Strike one, and another nearby tuned to the same note begins to vibrate in sympathy. It doesn't matter if the second fork wanted to move or tried to resist. It vibrates because resonance is law. The universe works the same way. The reality you desire has its own frequency, and when you hold that same energetic signature, you lock into it. No struggle, no proving, no begging, just resonance. This is why force fails. You can push and grind from a place of scarcity, but if your vibration is still coated with fear, you will only call in more of what validates that fear. You can affirm all day long, but if the energy behind the words is desperation, the field reflects desperation back. Manifestation doesn't answer to words alone. It answers to coherence. Coherence is when your thoughts, feelings, and actions all sing the same note. When your inner state aligns with the frequency of what you want, the field has no choice but to mirror it. It doesn't pick favorites. It doesn't judge. It simply reflects the signal. That's why some people seem to attract effortlessly while others struggle. It isn't luck. It isn't even effort. It's resonance. Imagine radio stations. The music is always playing on every channel, but you only hear the one you're tuned to. If you want jazz, you don't scream at the radio or smash the buttons. You simply tune the dial. The jazz was there all along, waiting. Manifestation works the same way. The wealth, the love, the clarity, the peace, they are all broadcasting right now. The only question is, which frequency are you tuned to? Most people miss this because they're busy trying to force outcomes. They hustle, they scramble, they obsess over steps, and in doing so, they stay tuned to lack. They send a signal of not yet, while expecting the field to deliver already here. But the field doesn't respond to what you want, it responds to what you are being. The frequency principle is both liberating and humbling. Liberating because it means nothing is truly out of reach. All timelines exist. Humbling because it demands responsibility. You can't fake your vibration. You can't trick the field with surface-level positivity while carrying doubt underneath. Alignment is honest. When you truly grasp this, manifestation stops feeling like magic and starts feeling inevitable. Every timeline waits for coherence. Every possibility is alive right now, and the moment you resonate with it, it ceases to be a dream and becomes your reality. Most people miss the power of quantum manifestation not because it is hidden, but because it refuses to play by the rules of the mind. The human mind craves evidence. It wants steps, structure, proof that something is working before it dares to believe. It is obsessed with the visible and suspicious of the unseen. And yet, manifestation always begins in the invisible field before it ever crystallizes into form. That gap between vibration and physical evidence is where most people abandon the process. They ask, where is it? Why hasn't it shown up yet? What if this is all just in my imagination? They look around and see that nothing appears different, and in their impatience, they conclude that nothing is happening. What they don't realize is that the field is already rearranging itself, silently, subtly, in ways that can't yet be measured by the senses. The proof exists, just not in the form they're conditioned to recognize. And so they quit. They give up just before the moment of collapse, the moment when the unseen becomes undeniable. It's like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to check if it's sprouting. Because the surface of the soil looks unchanged, they assume nothing is happening. But underground, roots are spreading, structures are forming, life is preparing itself to break through. Manifestation is the same. The energy shifts first. The reality takes shape beneath the surface. The mind, impatient and skeptical, wants to see immediate sprouts. But the field doesn't work on the mind's timeline, it works on coherence. This is why so many people miss it. They treat the unseen as absence rather than as evidence. They forget that silence is not empty, that stillness is not stagnation. The quantum field is alive with possibilities, but because it cannot be touched or weighed, the mind dismisses it as fantasy. And yet everything that has ever existed began unseen. Ideas, inventions, relationships, even you. Every physical form once lived as pure potential. The irony is that the very doubt people indulge in is what scrambles their frequency. The moment they decide nothing is happening, they shift their vibration back to lack, and the field simply reflects it. Not because the manifestation was impossible, but because coherence was lost. The field never stops responding. It simply mirrors the signal you give it, whether that signal is trust or doubt. To stay the course requires something the mind resists: faith in the unseen. Not blind hope, but a knowing that the invisible is not empty. It is where creation begins. Those who master manifestation are not the ones who demand constant evidence. They are the ones who learn to hold their vibration steady long enough for the invisible to solidify. Most people miss it because they can't bear the silence before the sound, the pause before the leap. But those who understand that unseen does not mean unreal are the ones who live the proof. They are the ones who collapse possibility into form, while everyone else keeps waiting for evidence that only arrives after belief. The need for control is one of the greatest illusions that keeps people from experiencing the ease of manifestation. From an early age, you're taught to hold the reins tightly, to plan every step, to calculate every outcome. You're told that if you don't control things, they'll fall apart. And so you micromanage your life, trying to orchestrate every detail, convinced that effort equals security. But in the quantum field, control is not security. It is static. The tighter you grip, the more you scramble the signal. Manifestation doesn't respond to your frantic attempts to manage the how. It responds to your frequency, to your state of being, yet most people try to bend the field into submission. They visualize with one hand while clutching fear with the other, unable to let go of the old belief that without control, nothing will work. But here's the paradox. Surrender is the doorway. Only when you release the need to dictate every detail can the field reorganize itself in ways your mind could never predict. This is not about passivity. Surrender is not giving up. It is aligning with trust so deeply that you stop choking the process. Imagine planting a seed and then yelling at the soil every morning, demanding it sprout on your schedule. That energy doesn't help it grow. It disturbs the very process you're hoping to accelerate. Control does the same. It tells the field, I don't trust this. And the field, ever faithful, reflects distrust back. The illusion of control is seductive because it makes you feel powerful in the short term. Writing endless lists, replaying scenarios in your head, forcing conversations, overanalyzing every signal, these things trick you into thinking you're in charge. But beneath that surface is fear. Fear that if you let go, nothing will come. Fear that the universe isn't listening. Fear that you aren't enough without the scaffolding of endless effort. Control is not strength. It is fear dressed as certainty. True power is quieter. True power comes when you lean into the unknown with trust, when you allow the field to handle the orchestration while you focus on holding the frequency. The details are not your job. The alignment is. When you let go of micromanaging outcomes, the quantum has space to rearrange reality in ways you could never script. Synchronicities appear, doors open effortlessly, people show up at the right moment. These things don't happen because you controlled them into being. They happen because you stopped interfering. Yes, surrender feels vulnerable. It strips away the illusion that your worth is tied to your control. It asks you to believe that life is for you, not against you. But vulnerability is not weakness. It is the courage to trust a field that has always responded faithfully to your vibration. The moment you loosen your grip, you realize the universe was never withholding. It was waiting for you to stop scrambling the signal. Control blinds you. Surrender frees you. And surrender is the only way the unseen can finally unfold into form. Yuan Do. Resistance doesn't come in the form of locked doors or blocked paths. It shows up as static, the subtle interference that scrambles your signal just enough to delay the collapse of your new reality. Doubt whispers that maybe this isn't working. Fear tells you that you don't deserve what you've asked for. Overthinking loops the same questions endlessly. When will it happen? How will it happen? What if it never does? These thoughts don't destroy your manifestation. They don't have that kind of power, but they do distort the frequency, holding you in a space of hesitation, like a radio station stuck between two channels. The field is always listening. It doesn't punish or reward, it mirrors. When your signal is steady, reality reflects back clearly. But when you fill your mind with static, the reflection becomes blurred. It's not that your desire vanishes, it's that coherence can't lock in. Imagine trying to stream a song with a weak internet connection. The music is still there, ready to play, but the interruptions and buffering keep you from hearing it fully. Resistance is the buffering. It doesn't erase the song, it just interrupts your ability to experience it. Most people misinterpret this static as failure. They believe the delay means nothing is happening, that the silence means the field isn't responding. In truth, the field is always responding, but it can only reflect back the signal you send consistently. When your vibration oscillates between trust and doubt, belief and fear, the field reflects both, resulting in half-built bridges, near misses, opportunities that seem to slip away just as they arrive. It's not rejection, it's distortion. The irony is that resistance often arises right before coherence. When your energy begins to align with a higher frequency, the old patterns fight to stay alive. Doubt grows louder, fear sharper, overthinking more relentless. This isn't a sign to quit. It's a sign you're close. The static intensifies as the old timeline dissolves, like interference at the edge of a broadcast tower. Push through that threshold, and the signal clears. The key is not to fight resistance, but to recognize it for what it is, temporary noise. You don't silence static by panicking or pushing harder. You silence it by calming your system, by returning to clarity, by tuning yourself gently back into resonance. A moment of presence, a deep breath, a shift into gratitude. These small acts reset the signal faster than hours of frantic effort. Remember, doubt doesn't block the field. Fear doesn't erase your desire. Overthinking doesn't destroy your manifestation. They only delay the collapse of possibility into form by scattering your frequency. Once you steady your vibration again, the field recalibrates instantly. So the next time resistance rises, don't take it as proof you failed. See it as static, nothing more. Beneath the noise, the song of your manifestation is still playing, clear and unwavering. Your only task is to retune the dial until the music comes through again. And when it does, you'll realize it was there all along. The turning point in manifestation comes when you stop asking, when will it happen? And instead begin living as if it already has. This shift sounds small, but it is everything. Because every time you ask when, you are reinforcing the vibration of waiting. You are broadcasting the signal of distance, of not yet. And the field, loyal and unchanging, mirrors that frequency back to you. But the moment you choose to be the version of yourself who already inhabits the reality you desire, the waiting dissolves. You collapse the gap between you and it. You step into coherence. Being is different from pretending. Pretending carries doubt in its shadow, a whisper that says, "This isn't real yet, but maybe one day." Being holds no such hesitation. Being says, "This is who I am now." That certainty sends a signal the quantum field cannot ignore. It is embodiment, and embodiment is the secret shortcut. Think of an actor who fully inhabits a role. They don't constantly remind themselves that they're playing a character. They live inside it until the performance is indistinguishable from reality. The best actors don't act the part. They become it. Manifestation works the same way. You stop performing as someone waiting for change and begin living as someone who has already shifted. The more consistently you embody that state, the faster the field rearranges to match it. This is why affirmations, vision boards, or endless rituals often feel hollow. If the energy behind them is desperation, they reinforce the vibration of lack. But when those same practices are used as expressions of embodiment, as ways to live the truth you already claim, they become powerful tools. The difference isn't in the method, it's in the state of being behind the method. The power of being is also what frees you from the trap of timelines. When you are already living as the version of you who has what you want, you no longer obsess over when it will show up. The question loses its meaning. You are no longer waiting for reality to catch up. You are reality catching up to itself. And the irony is, this release of urgency accelerates everything. The less you chase, the faster it arrives, because chasing is a vibration of lack, and being is a vibration of coherence. Ask yourself, how would the version of me who already has this think, act, walk, speak, how would they carry themselves through the day? What choices would they make, and what energy would they embody? Then start living that way, not someday, but now. Even if it feels unnatural at first, every choice you make from that identity strengthens the signal. Each repetition carves the frequency deeper until it becomes effortless. Those who succeed at manifestation are not the ones who work the hardest, nor the ones who hope the most. They are the ones who stop asking when and start being now. Because the quantum field doesn't respond to effort or longing, it responds to coherence, and coherence comes from being. The real reason so few people ever embody quantum manifestation is because its simplicity feels almost invisible. There are no fireworks, no thunderous signs from the sky, no cinematic explosion of evidence. Instead, it unfolds quietly, subtly, like a whisper that becomes stronger only if you're willing to listen. The human mind, conditioned to chase drama and proof, often misses it entirely. People expect their transformation to arrive with spectacle, but manifestation doesn't perform for the ego. It doesn't need to. It simply rearranges reality in silence, so seamlessly that it feels like nothing happened at all until everything has changed. This is where most people falter. They start the journey with excitement, convinced that their leap will be loud and undeniable. But when the evidence shows up as small synchronicities, gentle shifts in how they feel, or conversations that align with perfect timing, they dismiss it. They say, "That's just coincidence," or "That can't be it. It's too easy." And so they abandon the very process that was working, because it doesn't match the spectacle they were promised. But the truth is that the quiet is the power, the subtle is the confirmation. The universe doesn't need to overwhelm you to prove it is responding. It needs only to match your frequency. That match may appear in a smile from a stranger, in a door that opens without effort, in the sudden realization that a fear you carried for years no longer has power. These things are small only if you are still looking for fireworks. If you recognize them for what they are, you see they are everything. Why do so few embody it? Because embodiment requires trust in the ordinary. It asks you to keep walking as if the shift has already happened, even when there is no drama to prove it. It asks you to treat the subtle signs as evidence, not accidents. It asks you to find satisfaction in the quiet alignment, rather than craving the noise of spectacle. For most people, that's too vulnerable. They would rather cling to effort, to rituals, to constant proof, than surrender to the simplicity that doesn't demand performance. And yet, those who embrace the quiet are the ones who experience the permanence. They stop needing the leap to feel extraordinary and begin letting it feel natural. They understand that the point of embodiment is not to chase signs, but to live as the sign. They become the evidence, and life simply follows. The simplicity is the very reason it works, but because the mind equates worth with struggle, it rejects ease. This is the paradox. Manifestation is too simple for most to believe, too quiet for most to trust. But those who do, those who surrender the craving for spectacle, are the ones who discover the truth. The leap is not loud. The leap is not dramatic. The leap is inevitable, and it arrives in the quiet moments most people overlook. Manifestation is not something you switch on when you decide to focus on it. It is not a tool you occasionally pick up or a ritual you perform only when you want something new. The truth is, manifestation is happening all the time. Every thought you nurture, every emotion you embody, every belief you hold sends a signal into the field. That signal is mirrored back in the form of experiences, opportunities, and relationships. Whether you are aware of it or not, the process never stops. Reality is not waiting for your permission to respond. It already is. This is why awareness matters so deeply. The ones who thrive are not the ones who discover a secret formula. They are the ones who recognize that they are broadcasting continuously. They learn to notice the signals they send, to become deliberate with their energy instead of unconscious. They stop asking, "Is manifestation real?" and instead ask, "What am I manifesting right now?" That shift in awareness is the difference between living as a victim of circumstance and living as a conscious creator. The doorway is open to you every single moment, but most people hesitate on the threshold because the simplicity feels unbelievable. They wait for dramatic proof before stepping through, never realizing that the act of waiting is what holds them back. Those who step boldly, who live as if it is already done, discover that the field responds with breathtaking precision. They do not wait for evidence to prove their frequency. They embody the frequency, and the evidence comes rushing in. Living as if it is already done is not about pretending. It is about coherence. It means aligning your inner state with the reality you desire, even before it is visible. It means speaking, walking, and choosing as the version of you who has already crossed the threshold. When you do this, the field no longer sees two signals. It sees one, clear, steady vibration, and it mirrors it back without delay. The beauty is that this doesn't require struggle. It doesn't demand years of effort or endless rituals. It asks only that you trust. Trust that the process is working, even when you can't see it yet. Trust that the quiet shifts are evidence of movement. Trust that your new timeline is already alive in the field, waiting for your coherence to collapse it into form. The doorway is open, but you must be the one to walk through it. So look at your life now, not with the eyes of longing, but with the eyes of recognition. The reality you've been calling in isn't ahead of you. It's here, vibrating just beyond your current awareness. The moment you align with it, the moment you choose to live as if it's already yours, the threshold dissolves. You are no longer waiting on the outside. You are standing inside it. Manifestation isn't coming. Manifestation is now. The doorway has been open all along. So, tell me in the comments, what are you manifesting right now? Claim it.